everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. We are on day number 20, which is Letter to Myself. So I thought of all sorts of different kinds of Dear Cindy letters, and I'm in a time in my life right now where I have little kids, and I've been spending my mornings taking my daughter to a nature and ecology camp that she attends, and every morning I get to go on this beautiful nature walk, and I find myself, I don't know, it's just on my walk back after I've dropped her off, I find myself just really thinking a lot about a lot of different things. And I think that those are the quiet moments where we do that sort of thing, when you're walking through the woods and you're seeing little bunnies and things like that. So I kind of feel like that's the time when I like write little letters to myself, almost little thoughts and little quotes. Like today, what I thought about was I saw these two little bunnies playing around, and it was just such a beautiful morning, but I had to hustle to get home because I have to work today and I have meetings and I'm so busy. And I thought, isn't it funny and kind of sad that human beings are supposed to be the most intelligent beings on the earth? Doubtable, but we've heard that, right? Yet we're the only ones who seem to be unable to just enjoy the planet because we've all, sucked ourselves into this way of life where we can't play because we have to work. We can't do this because we have to do that. And I kind of think that is powerful and sad and interesting all at the same time. So it got me to thinking about how the little letters that we write to ourselves are also very important to just our daily functioning. And I think we need to also make sure that whatever letter we write to ourselves, we give ourselves a way out of any kind of a final decision or any kind of thing that could hold us back, right? So another little letter that I wrote to myself in my head last night was about, you do not need more supplies. So I thought I would do a couple things. So right now I'm working on some artist sample journals, and will you just look at this ephemera book? Isn't this unreal? It's everything. It's everything. And I actually have 3 of them on my desk at the back. So I want to try to bring down some of that stuff. And so I've made a couple volumes already of my artist sample book, and I'm making 4 more volumes right now. So my objective today is to take a few little letters that have been written via quotes from these old books called the Heritage Book. They were written by this lady. Let me see if I can find something. Give me 1 second. So on a thrifting adventure one day, I found a whole bunch of these books that were, like they sell like 10 books for $5 at my thrift store. And this is the Heritage Book from 1977. So I got a whole bunch of them, but I just noticed that this is in the front of at least the 1977 one. And this is the letter that this woman wrote about this book. And I think it's pretty relevant to today's theme. I first started collecting little stories and maxims after I had heard the moving story of a man whose wife had become very ill. Although the doctors had assured him that his wife would get better, they couldn't say how long it would take. The man, who had to travel in his work and couldn't visit his wife as much as he would have liked, knew that without his presence she would be unhappy and would therefore take longer to recover. One day, a large box marked medicine arrived at the woman's hospital bed. Inside were a great many large plastic capsules and a prescription instructing her to take one in the morning and one before retiring. Inside each capsule was a little slip of paper upon which the husband had written a happy or funny little memory cherished by the couple. These little stories were a turning point for the woman, and in no time at all the doctor sent her home cured. Since then, I have traded many happy and funny memories with all my friends and relatives. Hardly a day goes by without a new one arriving in the mail to brighten my day. So I thought that was kind of a nice way to just think about how words have power in our lives. And in the original 2 volumes of these artist sample journals, I had this same kind of thought, but I didn't maybe formalize it as much as I am today. And so I created these pages of little sayings actually from those books that just kind of stuck with me, because I felt like an artist sample book should also kind of include parts of their personality, right? So I've cut out a few from a couple of different heritage books, and I might have to grab some more while we're here. And I thought that what I would like to do with them is the same thing I did in the other books, which is to paste them down, but also I would like to add beside them a little something from my sampler of little ephemera things. So let's do that. So kind of a casual video today, more of a theory type video than like a specific tutorial, but I think valuable nonetheless. So the first quote is a Winston Churchill. When I look back on all the worries, I remember the story of the old man who said on his deathbed that he had a lot of trouble in his life, most of which never happened. And isn't that true, how much we worry about things that, you know, often don't even come to fruition? It makes you think a little bit about how much energy you give to these things, right? I can be a very terribly anxious person, and I'm trying to get better at not being so anxious. And my big motivation is my kids, because I don't want to pass my anxious ways on to them. You know, I think we always be needing to be thinking about how we can impact the future in a good way. But, you know, don't give yourself more anxiety about it. So I think with this one, maybe I'll use this little purple butterfly beside him. These are so difficult to peel. My goodness. I love these little stickers, but you hear that banging? That's my son. He's upstairs. He's dancing his heart out right now. He loves this YouTube channel. It's called Danny Go. And for those of you who are parents and have little kids right now, I actually recommend it, believe it or not. I know that we often find ourselves, like, as parents going, oh, I don't want to hear any more of this. Danny Go is kind of an exception for me. And I saw someone else, like on social media, mention, you know, are you tired of Cocomelon or Blippi or, you know, all those kind of standard things that a lot of kids watch? Like, check out Danny Go, because it's like he makes music, but he makes music that's like directed at kids that I think adults can enjoy too. And it's not like hyper annoying. And it's also really good fitness for the kids when they dance around. So it's nice. It gets them moving. And I like it. I find that his songs are often a little bop that gets stuck in my head. So this quote is, consider how hard it is to change yourself, and you'll understand what little chance you have of trying to change others. So I think that's a poignant one. Let's add another little sticker. This one is this beautiful window. Okay. And the next one is compromise is the art of cutting a cake so that everybody believes he or she got the biggest piece. I think we'll go with a little, maybe one of these little stamp piece bits, these 1 penny stamp cutouts, and I'll add 2 of them. So we have a little space there that I think that would look nice in. As a final incentive before giving up a difficult task, try to imagine it successfully accomplished by someone you violently dislike. I thought that was a very funny one. Inspiration comes in all different ways, right? Even if it's vengeful, maybe. and it would fit there. So this is kind of two different samples on this particular page. This one is quite nice. All the water in the world, however hard it tried, could never sink a ship unless it got inside. All the hardships of this world might wear you pretty thin, but they won't hurt you one least bit unless you let them in. I thought that was kind of a nice way of thinking about how, you know, in life you can't control everything, but you can control a lot of things. That's why you'll never hear me tell people to be grateful or, you know, smile or any of that, because you can't control everything in life, and you don't know somebody else's story or what they're dealing with. And, you know, sometimes people don't actually have a whole lot to be grateful for, because sometimes things really... one thing, you know, can outweigh all the other things in life sometimes, like losing a family member or being diagnosed with an illness. And I think our society puts this sort of expectation on people. Well, several different kinds of expectations, really, to, you know, first of all, of course, be a fighter, right? So that's the biggest misnomer in life that bugs me. And I see so much of it, especially in things like cancer care, is that there's this idea that somehow your measure of hard work or fight is what's going to save you, when what we know is that cancer is a very devastatingly difficult disease to fight, and not even to fight, but to just endure and to try to live with and to try to heal and cure. And you know, it's honestly not a measure of your worth as a fighter. And that's that whole thing. It's of that mindset about pulling up your bootstrings that has always offended my sensibilities. Very little things in life are actually solved by hard work. Retentive memory may be a good thing, but the ability to forget is the true token of greatness. That's a pretty nice one. But yeah, I tend to get a little bit cynical about things like that because, you know, I've seen a lot of people who were pretty hard workers, but that didn't stop them from losing everything that they had, or losing a job, or losing a loved one, or losing their lives, etc. So yeah, it's not the way I like to see things. It's again one of those things that makes me feel like we are just tiny little specks on a big giant planet, in a big giant universe, right? So think of yourself as the magic of moon dust, but also the smallness of moon dust, maybe, right? It isn't necessary to blow out the other person's light to let your own light shine. Also nice. Okay. You know, it's funny, last night I was thinking about what to do with this video, and I had this feeling I would walk around my studio and show you what I have in my studio, like how much fabric I have, how many books I have, etc. And I was going to like have a verbal conversation with myself at the same time, like, Cindy, you don't need more books. You don't need more fabric. You don't need... But then I just laughed about it, and I'm like, I think you know these things. Yeah. There's worse trouble I could be getting into, right? Than creative supplies. And I always look at it like this. As long as I keep things clean and tidy and organized, which I do, and I also know that I'm using things up, which I am, I'm okay. But I do have certain boundaries in my studio, like if the bookshelf is full, I don't get more books. But the bookshelf's not full. I do get through a good amount of things. The man who never makes mistakes loses a great many chances to learn something. That's a really valuable quote. That's actually something I've been talking to my children, my daughter specifically, about, because I think little kids often feel like when, they make a mistake or they do something wrong, that it's like, it's a lot more tragic than it is. They're not used to it. They haven't experienced failure very much. And so whenever my daughter, isn't so immediately good at something, I don't pump her up to feel that she is. I don't do that, because I don't like to sort of set her up for failure there mentally, because I know that, in life you're not going to be perfect at everything. And, it requires practice and focus and learning and commitment and all those things, right, to get good at something. So, whenever she makes a mistake these days, I actually tell her, oh, that's exciting. You didn't know how to do that, right? And then I will say, like, now, you have something new you can focus on and you can learn. And I try to also remind her as often as possible about the things that I remember she couldn't do, and now she can do them so easily. So, yeah, it's that kind of thing that I think is, valuable learning for kids and for adults maybe too, because sometimes we beat ourselves up so much about mistakes at work or something. And, honestly, every mistake is an opportunity, and there aren't that many mistakes that you make that are completely out of your control that you can't fix. I'd say some mistakes you can't fix, but some you can. Most you can. The valueless gift in the attic trunk, though romance and youth be lost, means more to the person who put it there than treasures of higher cost. That's kind of nice. It's about the way that we value things. What do I want to put there? Maybe one of these little string labels. I love these. I'm so glad I found these thrifting. These little price tag type labels. They're really cute. No, stand up. Can go there. Remember that happiness is as contagious as gloom. It should be the duty of those who are happy to let others know of their gladness. So I guess you can, try to spread your happiness around. Nobody does that better than my son, I have to say. I've never seen anybody spread, well, other than my daughter, but my son, I don't know. I think at the age of like 3, you just have this like very present joy inside that just, it can't help itself but to come out. And he is the sunshine in so many ways of my neighborhood. My husband's been joking a lot lately because, so we have a little Chihuahua and we have a bigger Beagle, and my husband walks our Beagle, and my son, ever since he was about 2, maybe even 18 months, he really took a liking to walking our little Toasty, our little Chihuahua. So it's kind of a cute little thing to see. You see like this big man and this big dog, and then this little tiny man and this little tiny dog walking together. And also my son's really excited to meet people these days. He's like, I call him aggressively affectionate. He's just this boundaryless little person who just wants to get to know everyone he sees. And yeah, my husband is like, it's like, I feel like this is Leave It to Beaver or something. I'm going outside and I've never been so neighborly in my life. I said, it's good for you. Never fear shadows. They simply mean there's a light shining somewhere nearby. Well, that's nice. Let's see. This is a chunky pocket. Let's go with one of these, maybe. Maybe some little berries. Yeah. Okay. What you can do, or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Go away. So that's nice. I'm going to translate that into get things done. There's magic in getting things done. I've been feeling that so much lately, like, oh, we got to get so many things done, but that's just me being the taskmaster I am to myself sometimes. We're working on our backyard. We've been working on it for a long time. We do it in little spurts because it's a lot of work, and also it's hard to do that kind of thing with kids around because, you know, you try to let them join you, but they definitely put some trouble in the works. That is still too big for there, but I'll leave it out. We'll use it in something else. Maybe I'll add a little sticker down there. Oh, fighting with this sticker. Okay, we're just gonna put that there and let it just simmer. I'm gonna move on to, oh, that's really cute. Let's add that. Sometimes I feel like I like paper cutouts better than stickers because they solve two problems. One, you can just glue them down like anything else, so you're not fighting with a sticker. But also, like, it's easy to make them yourself. So you're not having to buy stickers. And also you can depend upon the glue. Okay. The quickest way to make yourself feel better is to help someone who feels worse. I absolutely agree with that. Also, I think that those kind of things come to us when we need them to mentally. I had like a bit of a, I don't know. You know how sometimes you scroll through social media and you just see nothing but dark and bad things? I had one of those days, and I decided on the same day that I was just going to like figure out what it would take to do a Children's International, like foster a child from the Philippines. And so I did that, and it was really easy. And now I'm really enjoying that process, and I'm really enjoying writing letters back and forth to her and her mom. And it's kind of like having another little kid somewhere that, you know, you can take care of. And I love that. So yeah. Are these? No, these are stickers. They're not rub-ons. Are they super hard to get off too? No, I don't think so. Not as bad. Okay. I also learned a valuable lesson yesterday about rub-ons. So don't use rub-ons on any kind of old paper because they're too sticky, and they will always pull the paper up, like no matter what you do. It's just too much. This is just a nice little verse that I liked. The south wind brings wet weather. The north wind, wet and cold all together. The west wind always brings us rain. The east wind blows it back again. And I find in journals, I really love using poetry and verse, quotes and things. And obviously, you know, word snippets and the little things that I can personally write myself in snippets of words. I do a lot of that. Just making like little verses from word snippets that I cut out of books. It's nice to do that kind of thing when you're a passenger in a car, or you're, you know, watching TV or something. So this one, almost everyone intends to accomplish something worthwhile as soon as there is time. Yep. Oh, the importance of actually making time. I think that's why I'm a list person. I have these magnetic whiteboards that I have on my refrigerator upstairs. I probably have 1, 2, 3, 4 whiteboards upstairs between my homeschooling stuff and like just our day-to-day lives. I have one for like, you know, the monthly calendar whiteboard, and I have all the things that happen every day, because you have to have that with kids with like social schedules or like clubs and things. So I have that, and then I have one that is kind of like, you know, I have each of our names in one column on this whiteboard, and then anything we have coming up in the future, like in November I have a doctor's appointment, or, you know, something like that, just because it's so hard to remember all those things. And I find sometimes you get reminders and other times you don't. It all depends on just the doctor's office or the dental office or whatever that you go to, and if they do that kind of thing. All right. Evening red and morning gray set the traveler on his way, but evening gray and morning red bring the rain upon his head. All these old farmer sayings, right? All these things that came out of people who their lives are very ruled by the weather. I find that kind of thing really dreamy. Like, I really enjoyed, that's something I associate a lot with the Maritimes in Canada, because, you know, when I went to Newfoundland, it's like, I often think, you know, it's so much slow living, because everything that you can do, it's kind of predicated on the weather. So it kind of makes you slow down, and I really love that. I'm really wanting to go so much to Newfoundland, but right now is just not the time. It's too busy, and I don't know that my kids will be up for that drive, and I don't want to do any flying. I have no desire to fly, especially these days. Okay, so I've got 2 of these ready, and I think that's what I'll do today, because I'm going to be late posting this video anyhow. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the process of me making these fun little pages. I really like them, and I think that they're going to be a nice little addition into these journals that I'm working on. So I can probably show you me putting them in. So I'm going to go back here to one of the signatures that's closer to the back, because it doesn't have a lot inside of it yet. So let's add this one in here. So sweet. Then that one's done. And then the next one, again, we'll go to one of the back signatures. This one. I think, where do I want that one to be? I'm going to put it on the front this time. So I need to make 2 more of those, because I have 2 more of these books in progress. I hope you enjoyed this little chit chat with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day and something inspiring comes to mind, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.